Are you crazy?
Welcome to the Magnetico podcast. It is Super Bowl week. Kole, you ready?
Yes, sir.
I've been looking forward to this week. Chiefs, 49ers. We're going to break it all down. We have a special guest by phone, not in the studio this week, a little under the weather. Welcome, Wes, to the show.
What's up? What's up? It's been a while.
It has been a while, man. We've been looking forward to talking to you about this big game. Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. It's come down to the wire. Super Bowl is here this Sunday. What we got? What was your first, Wes? What is your first takeaway of this game before we break it down? What are you looking? What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm gonna try and give 2 points or a point per team. As far as the 49ers go, I am looking to how they limit Travis Kelce. Obviously, one of, if not the best to ever do it at the tight end position. Obviously, that is Patrick Mahomes' guy, both on the field and in their countless TV commercials they are in. But as far as the Chiefs go, I'm looking forward to that offensive line. They got a pretty good offensive line over in Kansas City, along with obviously Patrick Mahomes always being able to extend the play and such. I'm looking forward to seeing how they limit that fierce defensive line over in San Francisco with Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Eric Armstead, Kinlaw, all those guys on the D-line.
Kole, first takeaway of this game, just kind of what stands out to you?
I feel like it's definitely going to be a defensive battle. This is definitely the best defense that Patrick Mahomes ever played with, and I mean it's going to be a good game. But I feel like it's gonna kind of be a score like the Rams Bengals game. Like I feel like it's going to be close, like 20-23, something like that, something along those lines. I feel like the defense is going to step up, but the offense is going to do good as well.
My takeaway, and then we'll jump right into, because I want to get both of your thoughts on my takeaway of the game. I really think this game's going to come down to the coaching staff of both teams. So I want to pick your brains a little bit because you both guys are way more knowledgeable in the NFL than I am. But I think that this matchup is really going to come down to Shanahan versus Andy Reid. I would say arguably the best two play callers in the NFL. You guys can throw out somebody else, that maybe would stand out above them. But, in the past, and this is what I want to get you guys take, and we'll start with Wes. In the past, Shanahan hasn't held up against Andy Reid. Atlanta sticks out to mind when he was the OC, correct? And had I forget what they were down, how many points they were down, but that collapse there. And so we'll start with Wes.
Are you talking about 28-3?
Was it 28-3?
Yeah,
that's pretty bad. So we'll start with Wes. Coaching matchups, both sides of the ball, not just Andy Reid and Shanahan, but give me both sides of the ball. Who do you give the edge to coaching staff-wise in this big game?
I think naturally you got to give it to Coach Reid and company. They have such a great track record, not to mention Coach Reid, going back to his days in Philly. He's always been one of the best in the league. And that's not to take away from Coach Shanahan as well. Obviously, he's right up there with them, hence why they'll be playing each other this weekend in the Super Bowl for that Lombardi trophy. But if I had to give an edge, I'm certainly going to give it to Reid. I think his track record stands out a little more.
Kole, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, he kind of just stole the words out of my mouth right there. I mean, the Shanahan tree is crazy, like the coaches that he's produced in his career. But, I mean, Andy Reid, that coaching staff, they've been here before. You know what I mean? Like, they've won, 2 with Patrick? 3? 2? I think it's 2.
I think it's 2, and they've been like 4 out of the last 5 years in the Super Bowl.
I mean, they obviously have the experience, so I would go with Andy Reid.
So one thing I definitely agree with you guys. I think coaching staff-wise, the Chiefs are a little bit ahead. But I wonder, with all the film that's out there, coaches have tendencies. And Andy Reid has been around a long time. and Shanahan's a great coach. And you'll have to tell me who the defensive coordinator is because I can't think of his name right now for the 49ers. But given this time to prepare, the pressure's on Shanahan. Am I right? Like, you've got to win this game because if you don't get this one, not that nobody's going to say that he's a bad coach, anything like that. But coaches have tendencies. 3rd down and 3 to call this. 2nd and 9 to call that. There's so much film. There's so much data out there with analytics now. And so do you think that the 49ers have a little bit of an edge in that aspect of it? We'll start with Wes.
It's really hard to say as far as who has the advantage. I would say for the most part, it's sort of level grounds. I think overall, if I had to say which team, I think I like a little better overall talent-wise, it's probably going to be the 49ers. However, I think Coach Reed and company, Eric Spoelstra over there, who's one of the best in the league as well, I think they're really good at exposing weaknesses of other teams and such, which obviously certainly gives them the upper hand in many games as you see throughout the year.
Eric Spoelstra, isn't that the Miami Heat coach?
Who did I say?
Eric Spoelstra.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Wes is
I was kind of confused when you said that. I was like, doesn't he coach basketball?
Yeah, I'm getting my coaches mixed up a little bit here. My apologies.
That's fine. There's a lot
Steve
of Spagnolia. That's okay.
It was close.
It's close.
Close enough.
There's definitely, it's going to go down to me to the coaching in this game, and 2 of the best, like we said already. I think the one thing that's sticking out to me right now is, and Kole touched on it at the beginning, this is the best defense I think that Kansas City's had while Patrick Mahomes is there.
I agree.
And it seems like they're a little underrated too, a little bit. So I think talent-wise, Wes hit on it. I think that the San Francisco 49ers, as Cam Newton, this is one of the things that I wanted to pick you guys' brain. Cam Newton said that Brock Purdy is the 10th best player on the 49ers. And
I'm not mad at that take.
I'm not mad at the take either. But then Brock Purdy, shout out to him, comes back and says, yeah, well, there's 90-something quarterbacks on NFL rosters, and Cam Newton's not one of them. So I like that comeback. But, yeah, I mean, San Francisco on paper, they have the talent. But the Vegas lines, everybody's kind of leaning right now towards San Francisco as far as the favorite in this game. It's really a toss-up game at 1.5 or 2 points or whatever spread that you got. I think the most it has been is 3. I didn't see it at 3. But, yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of going with San Francisco because of the talent that they have. But for me, it's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I mean, it's just Cole gets on me all the time. But, I think that if he wins this game, and I say it's a team sport, but if Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs win this Super Bowl, they are right there with the dynasty that we know of the New England Patriots. Thoughts on that, Wes?
Yeah. I mean, they're certainly on that trajectory, no doubt. As I mentioned earlier, 4 out of the last 5 seasons, they've been in the Super Bowl. Along with their, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this season, in the regular season, they didn't do too well. But nonetheless, here they are playing in the Super Bowl. It's just the way they handle adversity and such. Yeah.
I agree, for sure. Patrick Mahomes, he signed like, what, a 10-year deal? Was it 15-year, 10-year? It don't matter. He's still going to be there for the next, 7 years. It's going to be a dynasty. I mean, he's been in the AFC Championship every year of his career, and it's just going to continue, no matter who's around him. I mean,
we talked about that on a couple episodes ago where he's going to be around. I think Andy Reid, as long as he wants to be there, is going to be there. You're going to get players to sign there. You didn't have a great offensive year, and you still end up in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, he's going to be around for a while. I think he's going to overtake Tom Brady. as the best quarterback ever to play the game.
Some say he already has.
Yeah, it's hard. Do we think, not to bring up negativity, but do you think the recent, and I don't know if Kole knows this, but what happened with his dad is going to affect him in the game at all?
Mm-hmm.
Whose father is it?
Patrick Mahomes' dad got arrested, DUI. And I don't know. I guess I should have looked this up before I brought it up. But he did get arrested for a DUI, and it's not the first time. He did some jail time in the past. So I don't know exactly what he's looking at as far as, if he's out or whatever. But, I feel like it's a terrible time for it to happen. But do you think that'll play in a little bit?
I feel like emotionally it might play in, but I mean it's Patrick Mahomes. Not to glaze, but I mean Patrick Mahomes is gonna play great no matter the circumstance. So I mean it's gonna affect him in some way, but I feel like he's focused on the Super Bowl.
He is allowed to report so he is traveling to Vegas, even though after his recent arrest. So it doesn't look like he'll be locked up during the game, but yeah, that definitely is going to play into it. But like you said, Patrick Mahomes is a professional, and hopefully his dad gets the help that he needs. Get an Uber. It's a lot safer than getting behind the wheel. So
agreed.
Certainly.
But another thing that sticks out of this game, there's a lot of headlines coming out. Do we think that the ex-Gator will have any impact in this game?
Kadarius Toney.
Kole, do you think he'll have any impact? Now, he's saying he's a number one receiver if you throw him the ball. I disagree.
I also disagree.
I think that he's a talented athlete. I think he's got some...
I feel like he'd be better as a running back.
If anybody knows how to use him, Andy Reid knows how to use him. I think there may be something missing upstairs a little bit with Kadarius Toney. Even at his time at Florida, you didn't see a heavy workload. I'm not going to fault him for lining up offsides. That happened. That was just a mistake, okay?
I mean, you still got to check with the ref. You know what I mean?
You still got to check with but yeah, so there's just a little bit kind of missing.
It's mindset. That's what it is.
I love the fact that he feels like he is a number one receiver because that's that swagger that he has. I do think that given the opportunity, he could make a big play in this game.
If he plays, though.
I mean, special teams, punt return.
That's what I was saying. I feel like they don't use him as a receiver. They just – because look what we did last year in the Super Bowl. He had a very clutch punt return to put them in field goal range, and then they went down and scored. So that's been a big headline. Then let's get Wes's take from his household on the old Taylor Swift controversy because everybody's got a little take on it. So we want to get Wes's take. Does it bother you in your household seeing Taylor Swift on the TV, this whole thing going on in America?
I'm not. So there's two perspectives on it, honestly. And there's your personal opinion, and then there's sort of the business perspective of it, right? So naturally, from just a personal perspective, my personal opinion, when I'm watching football, that's kind of what I want to watch. And I think they do a little too much sometimes, and of course they're doing it intentionally. We all know that. But nonetheless, it doesn't necessarily irk me as it does maybe some people who are just completely anti Taylor Swift. I mean, that's not the case for me. But then from the business perspective, a report came out a few weeks ago, I believe, of the millions upon millions of dollars that she's generated for the NFL. In jersey sales, obviously, just her presence at these games. Viewership is up way high for these games for Kansas City. So from that perspective, I understand it. I mean, she's generating millions, yes. I mean, Travis Kelce gets a first down or he gets a touchdown, pan that camera to T Swift,
Yeah.
If so from a business perspective, I get it.
Well, we had to get your take on it because we've talked about it a little bit. I don't care. Until they not show me a play in the Super Bowl because they're in the box, show and tell. Like, it's not like we're missing anything, so, and they fill that time with, if she wasn't there, it'd be somebody else. So
Yep.
I don't have a problem with it, but everybody is up in arms, and it's very comical to me, like I've said before, that people are so upset by something that is two people that are happy. Like, what, they seem happy. And
Yeah.
And it's not even like they show her repetitively, but they show for a good 5 seconds. Like, it's not a big deal.
and you have the conspiracy theory people out there, the vaccine, and it's a good story. Like, stop, but I made a joke to Cole that I did see something. I haven't actually seen it on the Hard Rock, and this segment brought to you by Hard Rock Casino in Tampa. I haven't seen it on the website yet as far as a prop bet, but I did see something where they were kind of putting something out there if there was going to be an engagement coming soon and you could bet on it. But I think that was just for
I saw that he was going to propose with the Super Bowl ring if they won.
So it's fun. It's from the business standpoint, like Wes touched on. It's smart by the NFL. You're getting new viewership. The people that think that Travis Kelce has made it now because he's with Taylor Swift, that it's just comical, and that's fun for TikTok, the little TikToks that people make and everything. But there's so many celebrities going to be at this game, like people thinking that the NFL wanted the Chiefs to win, so Taylor Swift probably would have been at the Super Bowl anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Along with, they don't even have enough parking spots for the private jets in Las Vegas. I saw that all the jet parking is so everybody's going to be in attendance.
Oh, yeah.
So, what other thing sticks out to you about this game, Cole?
I don't know. Well, go ahead.
No, anything that you're looking for? Like, who do you think is going to be the difference maker? Do you think, if you had to put right now, like one of the prop bets that you can do is MVP? I was looking at that. MVP is kind of crazy right now. Of the running back that I like for the Chiefs, Pacheco, and I think he's like a plus 800. Which he could have. McCaffrey's like a plus 400. Like, those are two guys that I could see being the difference in this game. What do you think as far as an MVP?
Oh, goodness. I think realistically, it's going to be one of the quarterbacks. That seems to just always be the trend. I know people get a little tired of it. It gets stale, but naturally that's just the trend, as history shows. So I do think it comes down to one of the quarterbacks, either obviously Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes, whoever sort of wins. If I had to give it to someone else outside of those guys, I do think Christian McCaffrey, if he comes out and has a monstrous game, I do think that's a name to look at as far as someone else outside of Brock Purdy for the 49ers. As far as the Chiefs go, the other name you mentioned at the running back position as well, Isaiah Pacheco, I think he can certainly come out and have a great game too, which would really speak numbers given that defense, of the 49ers and how good they are in the trenches, and typically being pretty limited in the run game, being able to limit other teams in the run game. So I do think those are two names to look at outside of the quarterback.
Cole, do you think that if the 49ers win, it could be anybody else but Purdy?
I feel like it could be with that talent on the roster. It could definitely be anybody else. Like, you got Debo, McCaffrey, obviously we mentioned that, Ayuk, even some of the defensive players, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Dre Greenlaw. There's endless possibilities on that roster.
Yeah, I think like Wes is saying, they usually go quarterback in the situation. I just don't. God, I feel like it's a lock. If the 49ers win, it'd have to be Purdy.
What a story.
Yeah.
A story.
And so Mr. Irrelevant, Cole informed me of that a couple shows ago. So Mr. Irrelevant, if you don't know what that means, it's the last pick in the draft, correct?
Yes.
The total draft.
Yeah.
Like all.
He was picked 262.
Number 262. So he was the number 262 pick. And then this is his second year?
Yes.
second year in the NFL.
And he was the third string going into last year.
So
Yep.
if the 49ers don't win this game, you really can't put it on Purdy. I mean, I guess we got to watch the game. If he throws 4 interceptions or whatever, that'd be different.
Yeah.
But, to get to where he's at, it's a great story. I just don't see a way that the 49ers win without him having the best game of his life. And I wonder if we haven't already seen kind of my Baker take, like if we haven't seen the best from him already. Can he play much better than that, than we've seen so far?
I wish I could think back to maybe one of his specific best games. That's something I would certainly have to look into. But I know statistically he certainly had some great games. But by no means, of course, are they of the level of Patrick Mahomes in terms of consistency anyways. Because simultaneously there was like a 3-game stretch during the regular season where they lost 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And people really love Purdy. And naturally so. The story's incredible. There's none other like it in terms of Mr. Irrelevant, as you guys were just discussing. But I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean,
he's
McCaffrey if he rushes for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he's really going to have to do that. I think that's going to be the key. And if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator, that's what I'm looking to take away. I'm looking to take away the run game, make Purdy beat me. I'm gonna blitz him. I'm gonna put pressure on him. I'm gonna disguise my looks. I'm gonna do everything I can. And I think with the 2 weeks, that's where I'm giving the edge. We're gonna come back to the picks at the end but I think that's the key in this game. I think that's where the Chiefs have the advantage, is with a quarterback, for all intents and purposes, a rookie, first time there, the biggest stage that you could be on. I think that defensive staff is going to come up with some things to really disrupt his rhythm, his flow. And if you're the 49ers, you got the best back probably in the league.
Not
Oh, yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
the best back in the league. And then you got Debo, whatever his name is. So, but if the Chiefs could take that away, and I think that's going to be a key.
Well, the 49ers like to run a lot of short routes, and that's why Purdy's had a lot of success in his early career, because he gets the ball out quick, and he gets it where it needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the resume to get to this game, that's something we haven't touched on. The resume to get to this game looks a lot better for the Chiefs. Going on the road with 2 wins on the road against
3 wins. No, 2. You're right, 2.
And if it wasn't for Dan Gamble, I don't know that the 49ers would be in this position. So, but we'll get to the picks here in a second. Kole wanted to touch on some of the awards that were given out in the NFL. Were they all given out already?
No, they're giving out like February. I think on Thursday is when they're being given out.
Okay, so MVP, Wes, who's your lock for MVP?
Lamar Jackson.
Kole, taking Lamar?
I mean, I would like to take Lamar, but it's difficult. It's going to be Lamar, but it should probably go to a guy like Josh Allen.
Really, Josh Allen?
Yeah, he's had a lot of turnovers, but Josh Allen, I mean, you take Josh Allen off the Bills, they're maybe a 6-win team. Like, it's, I don't know. I feel like Josh Allen deserves it, but it's going to be Lamar Jackson.
Hey, you're entitled to your opinion. Let me ask you guys this. Does the playoffs, is this just a regular season award, or do the playoffs play into this? So, like, have they already voted?
I think it's a regular season award.
But have they voted? Because it's just natural. If they haven't voted yet, I feel like the voters, even though you may not, you're not supposed to, it's supposed to be a regular season award, I would think the human element comes into play. And they're kind of like, yeah, well, I saw that pick that you threw and you didn't lead your team. Like, so is it supposed to be a regular season thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I believe so.
I would go Lamar. I like your pick, though, Kole.
I mean, Lamar definitely deserves it, but a guy like Josh Allen, who threw, 40 touchdowns, He had a lot of turnovers, second most in the league behind Sam Howell. But I mean, he's just a playmaker. He's not scared. He's not scared to throw it anywhere. But that's also a problem, obviously, by his turnovers.
Let's get into an award that is going to be given out that has some Tampa Bay Buccaneer ties to it. Comeback Player of the Year. Cole?
Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. You can hate me for that pick.
I don't hate you for it.
Because it's Comeback Player of the Year. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin came back. Okay. But what did he do?
So you think that Baker Mayfield deserves it over Flacco?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not no homer there at all?
No.
Wes?
And that's not even bias. I mean, Joe Flacco, he obviously performed, but we're forgetting he threw 10 interceptions in 5 regular season games.
Okay.
Which was how many Baker threw in 17. So.
Good point. Wes, what's your take on that?
I think everyone just enjoys a good story. That being said, I think I wouldn't be shocked for the NFL to lean towards Joe Flacco, honestly. I will say, per Vegas Insider that I'm looking at right now, top 3 is DeMar Hamlin, Joe Flacco, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I don't know how Comeback Player of the Year doesn't go to Hamlin, but I don't know if you heard the episode that we kind of touched on Hamlin a little bit. I kind of looked up his stats today, and I only seen where he actually had a statistical play in 3 games this year. And I'm starting to wonder a little bit if okay, let me back up. I think he deserves it just because
of the story.
And we damn near seen him die on the football field.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's able to play at the highest level of sport. But now I'm starting to, when I looked up his statistics, and I seen the fake punt that they tried to run to him, which
that's horrible.
That was a horrible decision.
I don't know what the call was right there.
That was absurd.
Yeah. And that now I'm even wondering even more why they did that with him. But I'm really starting to wonder if he's even going to be on the roster next year. If this wasn't just kind of like, yeah, we got your spot. We're going to, because there's no reason why he couldn't play if he was already an NFL player. But I'm starting to wonder if it wasn't just kind of, I don't know. I'm going to be careful with what I say about it. But he deserves it, but I don't think, Flacco or Baker, I think for sure. And Cole brings up some good statistical points with Baker and the interceptions with Flacco. So I'll go with you on that. And he had a great Pro Bowl. So
yeah, he won MVP of the Pro Bowl. I mean,
because the Pro Bowl matters. Flag. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, it's all about.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It's fun for the players, and it was kind of fun to watch too. So I mean, 64-59. I mean, what a game.
What other awards are being given out that you want to discuss?
Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, let's hit those. Offensive Player of the Year, Cole.
Christian McCaffrey. I think it's pretty simple. I think it's pretty easy. Move on.
Wes?
No argument for me.
All right, I'll go with you guys on that. Defensive Player of the Year. Who we taking, Cole?
I want to hear Wes's take first. I want to hear.
All right, Wes, you up first. Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL.
Probably Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I personally think it's T.J. Watt. He led the league in sacks, QB pressures, and he should have won it like last year too. So.
Yeah, I think it was last year, the year before. Statistically, he was better than, I want to say it was Aaron Donald or someone who ended up winning it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl that he won it.
Yeah.
So I'm going with T.J. Watt.
All right, Coach of the Year.
It's between Kevin Stefanski and D'Amico Ryans. I mean, honestly, I'm going D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico Ryans. And tell the listeners who he coaches.
The Texans.
The Texans. Wes, you got a pick on this one?
Everyone loves a good story. Dan Campbell.
I mean, I'm not mad at that, honestly. I'm really not.
I'm just saying, I'm just going with the trends in history, it seems, with some of these awards, it's all about these stories and such. It always seems to be the case rather than, maybe statistics and such, which I think that should more so be the focus. So,
dude, I'm going to say this on this podcast right now. If Dan Campbell wins Coach of the Year in the NFL, no, it just can't happen. It can't. It can't.
I will agree with Kole, though. Like, as far as who I think deserves it, probably D'Amico Ryan.
Okay.
I'm saying that because he led a team who went 3-14 last year to 10-7 in a playoff spot with a rookie QB.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. I would go Andy Reid, even if they don't win the Super Bowl.
He's not even in contention for the award.
I don't care. He's the best coach in the NFL. That's the award.
It's Coach of the Year. That's
my pick. You can have a pick. I can have a pick.
But he's not in contention.
I like the big fat guy. That's who I like. That's who I'm going with. Although the Texans coach had a great, with the rookie quarterback, I do see that, and that brings me into the next award, Rookie of the Year. Is there even a doubt?
Offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year.
All right, offensive Rookie of the Year.
It's between Puka and CJ, but any other year it'd be Puka, but it has to be CJ.
Quarterback's always the trend.
Yep. So Wes agrees with Kole. I'm going to go with it. I think that's the best performance I've seen. I can't even think of anybody better, rookie-wise, to lead his team the way he did. So I'm going to go with you on that one. Defensive Rookie of the Year? Wes, you want to start with that one?
I think it's going to come down to Jalen Carter of the Eagles or Will Anderson. I kind of want to, maybe I'm a little biased here. Obviously, Will Anderson playing at Bama. I think I want to give a slight edge maybe to Anderson, given that team's performance throughout the year, as Kole touched on just a moment ago.
I'm going Kobe Turner. I feel like Kobe Turner deserves it. I'm just kidding. I'm picking Will Anderson. Will Anderson is my pick.
Will Anderson. I'm not even going to pick on this one, but I do want to pick your brain, Wes, because we have Buccaneer listeners, and me and Kole been going back and forth a little bit about Baker. If you're the GM, put your GM cap on, which I think the writing is on the wall already with the offensive coordinator that the Bucs hired. And I said it really didn't matter. I think they could just put somebody in place. And so I guess hiring somebody that's never called plays in the NFL, they did what I said. But since they hired a guy that knows Baker, do you think the Bucs are going to re-sign Baker? And do you think they're going to overpay for him?
Given his performance this past season and just the quarterback market nowadays, I don't see why he's not returning as a starting quarterback next year. Also, with that being said, I think that front office just has to be smart with what they offer, because naturally, that QB market is not too friendly, it seems, nowadays. As you shared, I think on the Facebook page, sort of a list of all the quarterbacks and their cap hits and such. Many of guys on that list in the top 10, top 15, well overpaid, obviously. You got a guy like Deshaun Watson, $200+ million guaranteed. And the dude's played like a handful of games, I feel like. So you just got to be smart. I think Baker returns. I do think he returns. At least for another year, right? And maybe even more than that, given his performance and how he does next year. Obviously, this year was certainly a good one for him and the rest of that team. That's sort of my insight.
Before we give our Super Bowl picks here and the score prediction, I just want to, because I know Wes, when I posted it, Wes commented, it just came out that the World Cup final in 2026 will be in Newark. Not New York, everybody. It's in New Jersey. And I'm happy to see that for selfish reasons, but it really meant something to me. I know Wes is a soccer guy like me. To be in an enclosed Jerry's World kind of feel. I know the SoFi, they can kind of open the roof or whatever, and that would have made it a little bit. So I'm happy to see it, but I wanted to get your take on this. Do they take the turf out at MetLife and put natural grass in?
They should.
You got to play on natural grass. You can't play on turf, right?
I think they should. Yeah, I would agree with that. As far as whether they do or don't, I mean, I couldn't tell you obviously, but I would think so. I would have to look this up, but I want to say that they haven't made a final decision yet, and that it's more so just like kind of a bid at the moment in terms of who's going to get that position, and it's between the Giants Jet Stadium, Jerry's World, and then SoFi. And out of those three, I think, no offense to some of the Cowboys fans out there, but I think that Jerry's World's the bottom of that list just because it's enclosed.
All right, Cole, you ready? You're going to be the first one for the Super Bowl prediction.
All right.
I want the winner and the score.
So the score will be 24-21, game-winning field goal by Jake Moody. San Francisco 49ers win.
Oh, go on with the 49ers.
It's hard to bet against Mahomes.
24-21, you say, huh?
Yeah. It's hard to bet against Mahomes, like you've said. But I've got the 49ers. The 49ers are too talented. They're too talented.
45 total points. Okay, that's kind of what I'm doing this for.
You're such a gambler.
I'm trying to see where you guys' heads are at here. Wes, what are you doing here?
31-24 in favor of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
34-21. I'm going to
31-24.
31-24. Okay. So I'm going. I don't think this is going to be a great Super Bowl. I think it's going to be 45-21.
What?
45-21 Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's just a little out there.
I think the Kansas City it's just too much. They're too much, and they're gonna do what I said. They're gonna disrupt Purdy, and it's a great story. He's got to where he's got, but Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid's Andy Reid, and at the end of the day, even though they have all that firepower, the running game, you got to be able to run the ball. But I don't think that's enough. I think they'll do enough to disrupt them, and they won't be able to stop Mahomes and Kelsey. And I don't think Kelsey's going to have a big day. I think the 49ers will kind of, but the rookie running back,
he's not a rookie.
Pacheco?
He's in his second year.
Second year? Okay. I think he's going to have a big day. Big day. Might be my favorite I don't think he'll win it because like Wes said, they give it to the quarterback.
Every time.
But I think he's going to be a difference maker in this one. Any last thoughts on the Super Bowl and coin toss? Heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
Heads.
Are we looking forward to Usher?
Oh my.
No.
I'm looking forward to seeing SpongeBob on the Nickelodeon channel at halftime.
I think Usher's going to do a great job. He's been out there in Vegas doing a little a little show out there, a residency. So I think he'll be ready for his 13 minutes at the Super Bowl. All right, guys.
I got one for you guys.
Okay, hit us.
It's a good one. Does Travis Kelce retire like his brother if he wins the Super Bowl?
Nah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think his brother's retired.
I mean, he said that he's going to retire.
I think his brother comes back. I don't see how.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see if you're the best center in the NFL, like he was voted the best center by his peers. I think that podcast isn't gonna fill that void. I don't see it. To answer your question, no. I think Kelsey. Cole brought up a good thing. Kelsey or Gronk. That's a hard one.
I think it's Gronk.
It's a hard one, but I think Kelsey. I think both those guys still have a lot of football left in them. Maybe the brother, the center. I could see him just kind of like walking away. You know what? My back, my knees, family time. But Kelsey right now, if they win the Super Bowl, the high that he's on, like I don't see him walking away. Cole, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. Definitely with the publicity he's getting right now. I don't think, and he definitely still has more left in the tank. I don't think he's retiring.
What do you think, Wes? You brought it up.
I could certainly see it. You know, I'm seeing these rumors and such, hearing the rumors. You know that he's obviously in this committed relationship with Taylor Swift, and you know he's going to kind of maybe he'll win the Super Bowl and sort of just ride off into the sunset, get married eventually, have a kid or kids, etc. You know, so it wouldn't necessarily shock me to say the least. But like you said, given the high that he'd probably be on after this win, and he'd probably have some thoughts and conversations about it in the offseason, I would imagine. I think a guy like, obviously, his go-to guy, Patrick Mahomes, would probably convince him to stick around.
Yeah. Thinking about it, any of these guys I support walking away. Walk away while your brain functions good, while you still can walk. You know, win a Super Bowl. You're with the biggest pop star in the world. Get married. Enjoy life. He's got a bright future. If he wants to be in broadcasting, TV, you know, he's already on every damn commercial there is, it seems like.
Yep.
So, you know, he's going to work. He'll be fine. So I support it if he wanted to do it, because I think some of these guys hang around a little too long anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's declined, you know, to where he should be considering it for that purpose, or his brother for that matter. But I do, you know, I 100% support them walking away, and that CTE is real.
Oh yeah.
You know, that banging the head every play, especially at a position like center. Like, it's bad enough at tight end, but at center, you're nonstop, just collision. It makes no sense. And he's got little
Have you guys seen that movie Concussion with Will Smith?
Yeah. I don't know if Cole's seen it. Did you never? Yeah, you should watch it, Cole. It's a good movie.
Great film.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Any last thoughts? We appreciate you coming on under the weather.
Yeah, no worries. You have Jordan's flu game and you have Wesley's flu podcast, I suppose. So here I am in the flesh trying to get some good insight and takes here. It was a pleasure being on. As I mentioned, you know, I'm rolling with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, 31-24. I just think, you know, we've seen this Super Bowl not too long ago, just a few years ago, and I think it's going to play out in a similar fashion, a little back and forth, maybe some lead changes. But I think come, you know, after halftime, I think Patrick Mahomes and company will run away with it.
You heard it here first. This is formerly known as Intern Wes from the Jacket Breakdown Show. We appreciate you. You know, you're always welcome on with us anytime you want to kick it with us and chop it up. So we appreciate you, and we hope you feel better soon.
Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure.
Cole, any last words?
Let's go 49ers.
All right. Chiefs it is. Chiefs all the way. Patrick Mahomes, MVP.
Jake Moody for MVP.
We'll see you next week.